So what is consciousness of mind? Stay tuned and we're going to explore that next.
Hey everybody, Becky and Corey here. Today we are going to dive into the consciousness of the mind.
Oh my!
And we're going to do it in less than 10 minutes, which is awesome and kind of absurd at the same time. But really there's a new paradigm that's coming about with consciousness, which is kind of the theme this month. You know, talking about the overall consciousness, but breaking it down into simple layers that we can understand and form our own idea of what consciousness is.
To do so, we'll look at the mind, body, spirit paradigm because that's something that so many of us are familiar with, at least in language. And so to take something that is also in a similar paradigm in language of consciousness, we're going to look at each of these layers. So today, looking at the consciousness of mind. Now, one thing that comes up is even the words consciousness and mind were once, and sometimes still, relegated to just the brain. And now we're starting to see that, well, mind might be more than just the gray matter, the brain, and consciousness likely even bigger than that. But there's still a relationship to the mind and to the brain. And so that's what we're going to explore more today.
So one thing that I've noticed, especially around some of the newer spiritual communities, is this demonizing of the mind. It's like, you know, whether it's the ego or you call it whatever you call it, it's this, well, we got to kill it off, we got to disregard it, it's just going to get you in trouble, it's useless.
I need to empty the mind, clear my mind, get rid of the mind.
And that's actually a fallacy. You're actually trying to take a piece of yourself and say, no, I don't want you, you need to go. That doesn't work. It's still a part of who you are. And it has a function that really helps, which we'll get into in a minute. First, I want to talk about the opposite side a little bit. The opposite side is glorifying the mind, almost deifying it, making it godlike, where it's the end-all be-all. It's the only truth. It's the only thing that can actually bring you a solid answer. Think of, science in this aspect.
And there's so many people that live only in their head or in their mind and their brain. And so we want to find balance between these two, not demonizing the mind, nor deifying it.
The thing is with the mind, it is where you place your attention, which is a very useful tool. You can focus inward and get that internal knowledge of who you are, what you're about, all of those things. And meditation is a good example of this. And you can focus your attention outward, so you can gather information to make informed decisions, which we talked about last week. Both of which are very important for you as a human being and important to your consciousness as you move forward.
And by training the mind or working with it, having a relationship with your mind, it allows you to have a very powerful, positive relationship that becomes like a trusted advisor and not just, something that you're trying to stuff down or talk down to or put up on a pedestal. It puts you at a peer level, trusted relationship.
I like to think of the mind also like a bodyguard or like a gatekeeper. Because the mind does something amazing also, and that is it protects you. So imagine you're going to go through a traumatic experience, like you're going to get hit by a car. A lot of times you'll dissociate, which is the mind pulling you out saying, nope, you don't really need to experience that fully. Which, thinking about it is great. It's like, wow, yeah, okay, I don't really want to experience that. That's going to suck. However, things get stuck in the body with that later, which we'll get into next time. But the point is, the mind is there to protect you. And in doing so, don't think of it as a bodyguard like Big Bouncer bodyguard. Think of it as a bodyguard as someone who loves you, who really wants to take care of you, who's friends with you. Someone you can have a conversation with and let them know, what you want to do and what you want to be protected from.
And that's where you do want a very well-trained, well-disciplined, gentle, compassionate, loving type of being. And if you think of the mind as a being like this bodyguard or this advisor, then you can interact with it and have a relationship with it as such. So our question this week is, what type of relationship do you have with your mind? Is it one that's either demonizing or deifying? Is it, if it were a character, we look at like a bodyguard or a gatekeeper that's loving and compassionate as well, or an advisor. So what type of relationship do you have with your mind? And so explore that this week as part of your homework or exploration.
So this week, take on asking the question, what is your relationship with your mind? And then you can take it a step further. What is the relationship you want to have with your mind? And in that's the first step in starting to build your consciousness. When you get the consciousness of the mind, you can start building it into the overall human consciousness of you.
And this is, when we're looking at mind, awareness and attention. So we're looking at this awareness, focus, attention. So having that relationship and going from there.
So again, hit the like button if you guys like what you see. And we will come back next week and talk about the consciousness of the body. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.